Hi, my name is Michael, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a rundown of my SB140. So I've had the SB140 for about a year now. My last bike was an SB5, and about a year ago I decided I was going to frame swap. If you haven't seen that video, you should take a look. The 140 is a super playful bike. It's got 27.5 wheels, and it's in Yeti's RIP category. I've had a lot of fun on this bike. I've ridden everything from XC trails all the way to bike parks like Lindrock and Snowshoe. And this bike's been able to take pretty much all of it. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and around here the bike's been great. It pedals well and it descends well. Most of the trails around here are XC trails-ish, but because it is so hilly, there are a couple descents that are pretty sweet. And this bike definitely likes to go fast because it has the Switch Infinity suspension platform. Riding the 140 at parks was sweet. Most of the flow trails it ripped through all of them. The biggest time that I felt like I almost could have used a little bit more bike was on the tech trail. But then again, this is a 140 160 trail bike. It wasn't necessarily designed to rip through gnarly tech. I've also made a couple trips down to Pisgah in North Carolina. And this bike there has been a lot of fun. It definitely kind of matches that sort of grind up and rip down, but also is super playful at the same time. You can do a lot of trail jibs and such, or kind of pop off little things that maybe a bigger wheel might roll over a little bit more easily. But you definitely do feel the smaller wheels if you kind of go back to back from like a SB150 or a 130 to this bike. I know someone who has mulleted it, and I was able to test ride that, and that was a super fun bike to ride. He dropped the fork travel down 20 mils to keep that axle to crown length, and with that 29er front wheel, it really did roll over everything a little bit more smoothly. Let's take a look at the parts. I'm just under 6 feet tall, and I'm running a large. I have the Turk version as well. For the fork, I'm running the Fox 36, 160 millimeters of travel in the 44 offset. If you buy the 140 straight from Yeti, I believe it comes with a 42 millimeter offset. For the rear shock, I'm running the Rockshox Superdeluxe Coil with a 500 to 610 progressive coil from Cane Creek. This coil isn't technically compatible, but it took a little bit of work to get the Cane Creek coil onto the Rockshox shock, primarily because their inner dimensions are not the same. I had to grind off the inner layer of paint on the coil, and then I was able to get it onto the shock with a little bit of force. For wheels, I'm running DT Swiss wheels. I have DT 350 hubs laced to EX 511s. They're 28 hole, and I did the rim swap from the stock rims on my SB5, and that was a huge improvement, going from 25 millimeters internal width to 30. The tire profile felt way better. I had a lot more traction, and overall the bike just rode a lot better. I'm also running cush core in the rear. I definitely really enjoyed when I put cush core on, and it really dampened everything out. The cush core removed some of the vibrations that you get normally. It really allowed the air volume of the tire to ramp up and transition that to your suspension. I'm running a Sram drivetrain. I've got kind of a smorgasbord of all different Sram components. I'm running an XO1 shifter paired with the GX derailleur. Then I have a GX cassette with the 50 tooth as the big ring. I'm running the XX1 rainbow chain, which I definitely really like the look of on the bike. It doesn't really match like everything, but it's held up for a while. I think I'm at 6 months or so of riding, and it's still holding up. I've got the XO1 carbon cranks with a Wolf Tooth 32 tooth chainring. I'm running Saint pedals. I had the previous Shimano pedals that didn't have as much platform before, and when I switched to these, I definitely really enjoyed the platform. When you unclip and you're going through a chunky section, you're really able to just put your feet back down and not have to worry about your feet sliding around, especially because I run the Shimano AM9s, and they have a huge channel. It allows for the pedal to sit into the shoe, so when you're not clipped in, you still have traction with the 4 pins that are on the pedal. I'm running guide brakes. Last year I did warranty these before they were sticking, and that's a known issue. but I warrantied them and they definitely feel a lot better. For my brake pads, I'm running a semi-metallic and an organic, kind of half and half, one on each side. I was running both organic before, and I definitely felt like I wanted a little bit more bite. They aren't the most powerful brake, but the semi-metallic along with the organic kind of allowed for a little bit more modulation, but it also had a little bit more bite to it. For tires, I'm running Maxxis. I have an Assegai up front and a Dissector in the rear. Both are double down max grip. That's pretty much because that's what I could find. I was running an XL Plus DHF last summer, and I did drop to flat and land on a rock, and it did split like a 1/4 inch slice in the sidewall right next to the bead.
That's a 1/4 inch or half incher right there.
If I had to describe the riding characteristics of the 140, I would classify it as a playful bike. The 27.5 wheels really make it very nimble. It's definitely the jump around on the trail, and I think the leverage curve that this specific Yeti has caters to that sort of jumpy, poppy, play feel. As with the Switch Infinity in general, the more you push the bike, the faster it goes. The more you push into rollers and little ups and downs on the trail, the bike really just likes to generate speed, and then you're cruising. I definitely think this bike pedals very well. When climbing up steeper sections, it definitely kind of cruises up. Cornering this bike has also been very nice. Coming from the SB5, this bike was way more stable in the corners. It just felt very planted, and especially when kind of leaning over, doing bike body separation, kind of trying to be stable. Even when you start to slide, the bike still felt very balanced and controlled. So you're able to kind of slide until it caught, and then you're really able to look through and cruise through it. Since this is my only bike, I definitely built it up a little bit beefier than if I had a big bike, like a 160 bike, a 150 bike, and a 130 bike. Prior to this bike, I definitely enjoyed popping around on the trail, but I think with the riding characteristics of this bike, it kind of brought it out even more, and now I'm kind of just looking for more things to jump off of and jib, you know. So it's definitely been a super good bike to work on those skills. If you're looking for a bike that can handle pretty much any trail riding and the occasional park trip, this is definitely a good option. I really like it for its kind of ability to do most everything pretty well. Jumping and such has been fantastic on this bike. It's super fun and playful, but also planted in the tech because of the suspension linkage. I decided to go with this bike because it fit my sort of riding style the best, doing more kind of trail rides that I really enjoy going down and popping and jumping, but I was able to kind of compensate or build up this bike to make it so it'd be able to take downhill tech stuff. And that's a look at my 2020 Yeti SB140. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I'll be making more mountain bike content, traveling, doing all sorts of stuff. I don't know, just having a great time, and I'll see you in the next one.